My name's John Strack, and I'm with Prominent Fluid Controls. And we're doing a video so that we can give you an idea of what Prominent does and how we fit into the market. And one of those ways is we deal with water. And one of the things that we're going to look at is taking a trip to a wastewater treatment plant to give you an idea of how that process works. So one of the places we're going to go is Cranberry Township, Pennsylvania, and we're going to walk through the Brush Creek wastewater treatment plant and get an idea of how Prominent helps the customer in the process that they need to do.
Well, John, this is the primary clarification process. So after the water is pumped from the pump station, we remove the big solids, removed out the smaller material, the grit, the most abrasive materials. We slow the velocity of the water down in these tanks behind us, and we allow gravity to work for us. So anything that's heavier than water will sink to the bottom of the tank, anything lighter, and you notice there's some brown tannish material on top of the water, that's fats, oil, and greases. That'll float to the top, and remove that solids and pump it out to our digesters. The fats, oil, and greases will skim off the top and send it also to digestion. And what's left is matter that's suspended. And the technical term is colloidal material, and we use that stuff as actually material that's food for our next process, which is a biological process, which we're going to talk about next. From here, that suspended material, the colloidal matter, will become the food for our biological process. The term is called activated sludge. We just have billions and billions of bacteria cells that we grow, and their food source is the water from the primary clarifiers. We give them oxygen, and those are the only two constituents they need to reduce the materials to simple components: carbon dioxide, water, and more bacteria cells. From there, they do a great job of cleaning the water.
There's a lot of science that goes into treating wastewater.
Absolutely, there's a lot of science, there's a lot of engineering, there's a lot of math, a lot of mechanical skills. This is our next physical process. It's called MBR, membrane bioreactor. The biology from the aeration tanks will float into our MBR tank, and inside the tank we just have sheets and sheets of this hollow fiber material, and we literally strain the clean water from the dirty water and filter out the bacteria, and the clean water goes out the center of the tube. We collect them up into a series of headers, and from there each rack turns into a cassette, and we collect all that clean water, send it out to our receiving stream. These are our return activated sludge pumps that are connected to the membrane bioreactor. The MBR, the benefit is a very small footprint, so there's not a lot of detention time for that water to stay in the tank, and if we didn't have a way to return it to the head of the tank in a very fast and efficient manner, we would basically overflow our tanks. So these RAS pumps are pretty big, and they're designed to pump a lot of water back to the front of the tank so we can recycle that water efficiently and effectively. From the MBR process, we really validate how efficient that process is working, basically on how clean the water is. And it's filtered so well that a typical suspended solids test really is not going to give us correct data. So we actually use turbidity meters, the same thing as we do in our drinking water treatment plant, to determine how clear, what material is actually in the water itself. So it's all, our system's a pressurized system, and to ensure that we have a good sample going into our turbidity meter, we're using your Prominent pump to take a clean water sample from the filtrate header, permeate header, and push it through the turbidity meter. We are actually in the MBR chemical feed room, and we actually have three Prominent systems here. We have one system that feeds the citric acid chemical that is used to clean our membranes. We have one system that uses the hypochlorite for another cleaning chemical, and our third set of pumps are designed to feed carbon. If we ever had to do an advanced treatment technology, more nutrient removal, we would utilize carbon to provide a food source for the bacteria in our aeration basins. Well, we're at the top deck, and we're overlooking our chlorine contact tank. So all the water that comes out of the MBR process will enter the chlorine contact tank. And although the water is clean enough and there's not a lot of bacteria in the water, we still have a permitted regulation that we have to chlorinate our water just as a double check to make sure there's no bacteria or harmful, organisms in the water that can cause human health problems. We're at the end of our journey. The water that came into the plant about 8 hours ago finally made it through all its treatment processes, and we have the ability to return it to the receiving stream, Brush Creek. The treatment plant really is designed to protect human health and the environment. That's the mission of our operators and our maintenance staff. We take very good pride in trying to be good stewards for the environment, and hopefully we can keep that interest for other generations to come.